Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lhey Ralston, together with Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores. We are doing another fun class this lovely Wednesday afternoon and would like to thank everyone for being here today and joining us and spending some of your precious time to learn and to create and to just have fun. During the class, if you have any questions, you may use the chat and say hi, say hello, be part of the conversation. And I think especially this class that we're going to do today, because it's going to be very simple. It's going to be so relaxing. I was just talking to Carrie about it earlier that, you know, some of our classes we usually have beginning and then the ending, right? Because we're creating something. But in this particular class, we really don't have a goal, but understanding and giving you some inspiration of some nice, my favorite, honestly, personal favorite color combinations or color palettes. I don't know about you, but I myself struggle with that sometimes. And I think of an illustration or I made a drawing, and then when it comes to colors, picking colors, whether it's digital or analog illustrations like this, I struggle with colors. And so I thought, what is a fun, just relaxing class to do other than talk about color, not color theory, because that's pretty hard to explain. And we're going to need more than an hour about that. But we're talk about just color ideas and color palettes. I thought I'd share with you what are my favorites, which are my favorites, and how I like to use them. And maybe we'll do a little bit of lettering or some few fun doodles here and there, just to kind of give you an example where and when and how you can use some of these color palettes that I've picked today. For materials that I'll be using, I am going to be using my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pens. So let's talk a little bit about the Pitt Artist Pens. Pitt Artist Pens are water-based India ink, right? So India ink is different from a lot of the markers and pens that are available in the market. Those are either water-based dye inks or some alcohol markers. India ink is very different. The way it works is it is water-based, so not a lot of people understand this, but you can blend them with water. But one of the pros and cons, it just depends on how you look at it, because isn't it so funny? The pros can be a cons for somebody. For example, an India ink dries fast. For the lefties, I think you would love it because it dries so fast that you don't end up with a lot of smudges. And I hear this a whole lot. Now, if you're going to be doing a lot of blending, the India ink that dries fast can be a con, because you're like, that's a negative, right? Because, well, it didn't give me enough time to really blend. The ink dried so fast, I didn't get enough time. So, but again, understanding your tools and your supplies is very important, because then you're going to understand how to really use it, how to approach things, so knowing that this dries fast, what do? You pick a paper that will not absorb the ink so quickly. So I love using paper that has a little bit of coating. So that's one thing. And then you can also work much faster, say understanding that, oh my God, these inks dry super fast. Now I got to go move a little faster. Now with me, I work a little too slow sometimes. So sometimes it's a negative because I just work slow. I like to take my time. And speaking of taking my time, I'd like to say hello to everyone. Hi, Christy. Hi, Tina. Hi, Mary. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Tina. Hey, April. Hi, Pam. Hello, everybody. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Michael. Hi, Stephanie. Hello there. Hi, Yasina. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Hey, Barb. Hello. Okay, so I did provide you with the color palette. Again, sometimes when we do these classes, we all are using different materials, and that's okay. Different, markers. For example, I'm using the Pitt Artist Pens. Of course, you're not going to have the same exact number and exact color, but if you have another collection, from another brand that you'd like to use, you can still use this color palette right here and just really choose. How are you going to do that? First of all, what I'm going to say is it's very important to swatch your markers. So for example, all this is the 60 set. 60 piece of markers. I do have, and I did provide you, if you'd like to get this one big set, I know that I did provide you with this swatch card or swatch sheet of paper here. You can use it to really, for example, this one, it says 104. You got to go look for your 104 and then swatch it. And also, what a great way to see your colors. And then you can choose which one you'd like to use. Why can't I choose the 104? My brain is not working, guys. Where's 104? Oh, Lord. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. So yeah, there we go. You got to make swatches. And then also, what fun way to know which colors you already have in your stash. Because I don't know about you, I often more often than not, I need to slow down a little bit. I'm too excited. More often than not, I always get doubles just because I'm like, I forget which ones I have already. You guys are making me too excited. So this is the swatch card. You can print this out and then use it at home. But of course, it's not going to work if you're not going to be using the Pitt Artist Pen. But the color palettes that I provided, you can definitely use it. Choose your own brand and then choose the colors that are very close to it. All right, so I have a lot in front of me here, right? There's many different colors. So we're going to go one by one. We might not be able to cover all of it, swatch all of it because it's already here in front. April said, I don't see the paper that you're working with. This is it. If you haven't, I believe that Carrie was able to share the link for the handout, just in case you guys didn't get that. You can click that link, download it, and then print it at home. Okay. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 different types of palettes. And like what I've mentioned, I use this for inspiration. It doesn't necessarily mean that the name says mermaid. You can just use this color, when you're drawing or coloring a mermaid. I just picked like cute colors, cute names for the palette. Does that make sense? Because I think it's the one that best represent the color palette that I picked. So first we have the mermaid palette. I love it. As you can see, I tried so hard to really give you a variety, but as you can see, there's a lot of brights in here, a lot of brights color, a lot of bright colors, blah, just because I love bright types of illustration. For example, this is my kawaii world. All right, so this is the kit that we're going to be using for next week. If you don't have this kit, it's okay, because I did provide a worksheet also, and plus we can go one by one. So for example, as you can see, I love the bright, happy colors. So this one is my favorite, the happy palette right here. We have the 156, 136, 107, 113, and 125. So I believe that I pulled those colors, 156. This one, when you look at the markers already, just looking at it, it already makes me happy, just seeing all these bright, fun colors. Now, I know you might not say, oh, well, that's too much colors for me. And I always suggest when you're trying to color something, you have to pick at least 3 to 4 colors so that your illustration will still have some harmony. What happens is that when you bring in so much color in a project or an illustration, what happens is that when there's too much in there, what your art is expressing. Now, again, art is subjective. Please always remember that. If you are someone that I just like to mix in all the colors in there, maybe the experts, the teachers, professors are going to say, don't do that because it doesn't have any harmony. It doesn't belong to that color theory. But art is so subjective. I say, if you want to use all the colors, you're more than free and more than welcome to do so. But I like to, nothing is wrong with dark colors at all, Michael. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with dark colors. We have some dark muted colors in here. I think you misunderstood what I said. There is absolutely nothing wrong with dark colors. I love bright colors. That's what I'm saying. So I love bright colors. Okay, so for example, I want to choose in here which, for example, the citrus. I'm going to pick some colors in here and we're going to do a little bit of lettering so we can really show you guys what happens when you have harmony in your paper. So I have 104, 107, and then 109. So we have the lightest yellow. We have a cadmium yellow in here. And then we have kind of like a dark chrome yellow. It is a dark chrome yellow. And then I'm going to pull out 171, this one, and then 112. So I have yellows and greens in here. And I call this palette citrus. I love it. I'm going to go grab some marker. I'm going to go swatch all the colors in first so you guys can see it. Let me zoom it in. 1 second. Can zoom in just a little bit so we can see. Well, the thing, picking colors, I think this is how I would like to explain this one. I think an artist, we are all artists. So when I say artists, we're all artists. So I think you have to be a little technical, but a lot of intuition also. It's just sometimes when you look at one picture, for example, you drew, let's say you drew an under the sea scene, right? So in your mind already you have blues, you have greens, and then you want to add some colors in there because you'll have different fish. So for example, we can actually do this without the blues. We can still create a little bit of under the sea. We have some, maybe we can use for the corals. We have some yellow we can do, or an orange for the fish. And then if you want to pull in some blues in here, this is already it. So just add one more color. You can choose a green, a yellow, and this one. You can create so much just with this colors right here, right? It's just, so use your intuition a lot more than your technical, because when you start thinking about the color theory, and again, that's a little bit of long, very long class, just because there's a whole lot. Maybe we can do that in many different sets. Start with one, which is the primary, and then we can go from there. The complementary, the analogous, you know. But right now we're just going to do a little bit of just color exploration, we should call this. So I have the 104 light yellow glaze, and then I have the cadmium. This time we'll do the dark chrome so you guys can see all the colors, which is, I don't know why it's giving us a very bad tint to my colors. It's so weird. Like that. And then we'll add my greens. We have 2 light greens. This is our 171. And then this is the leaf green. I want to show you a little bit of an example of what you can do with this color palette. It's not the same exact colors, but this one I painted using a different marker. But see how cute when they are, camera is giving me a so crazy temperature. See, this one is like a perfect example of having a color palette like this, because there's not a whole lot. So there's a harmony going on in here. We have the light, we already have the light yellow in here. We have the orange, we have a darker yellow, we have some green. So I think we can do something like this today, right? So we'll choose that. We can do some lemons in here. And I'm gonna go put this on the side. So if you have the same exact palette, light yellow or a darker yellow and an orange, light green and a darker green. So if you want to pull that out, let's go have a little bit of fun and create something simple and fast. The colors are 104, 107, 109. 171 and 112. Okay, so I'm going to start with a very light yellow here. I think what's throwing us off is my paper. Look at it, it's a slightly yellow, right? I'm going to choose a white one. Maybe it'll give us a better tint. I don't know. So I'm going to start with a very light yellow. And you can start by drawing a lemon. I always like to start, for some reason, with that little tiny hump on top of my lemon. That's why I call this palette citrus. Have that. I started with the lightest one. I'm going to try and draw just not too so big, so because it takes some time to color it. Like that, and I'll add a little bit of a smaller lemon in here. So I start with that little hump on top, and then I do like parentheses, like open and close. I'll start another yellow over here with the lightest yellow that I used. I'm just doing this so you guys can see the color palette instead of just doing some swatches. I thought it'd be fun to do a little bit of doodle just to see what it looks like when you're creating some palette like this. Then we can create limes, right? Because we have this very light green. So I have two greens. I have the lightest one, which is the 171. And then we'll have the other green, which is like kind of like a medium green, the 112. It's leaf green. And then that's what we can use for the leaves.
Lhey, somebody is wondering if these are the brush nibs.
Yes, these are the brush nibs. My favorite. And I think I'll add one more of the cadmium yellow 107 to this right side, just so we can be balanced. Open and close parenthesis. And then we can start adding some leaves using the leaf green. I'll start on top. One side like this. Then to add character to your leaves, instead of just plain leaves, I'm going to do one is filled in, one side of the leaf, and the other one's not. Just half filled in. So one is completely filled in, and the other one's just half. And then play around with the sizes also. Maybe others are like shorter. Play around with position. More leaning left, leaning right. Maybe go on top of one of the other like this. And this is a fun exercise in your sketchbooks as well. Remember when we did the sketchbook class? Was it like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago? We did just like blobs and instead of blobs, you can start drawing some fruits like this. And lemon, oranges are great fruits to try and draw because they're so simple. Do this one. Now, if you want to bring in another color in here, I would use the orange because this is the only one that we have left. And how am I going to use the orange this time to bring into this palette? I'm going to probably add like small patterns, like imperfect circles like this. I love adding like little tiny embellishments across my page. And then this is also a fun way to introduce another color in your artwork. Like that. You can also bring in a darker green. This. Oh, why our screen is so bright. So this one is 174, right? So you can start adding some line in between your leaves. You can also add patterns inside. So for example, for the lime, to introduce this darker green, I'm going to use it for the dots, for the textures, like that. Or you can just add in textures, just like this. Fill in the shape or you're drawing with some patterns. And you can use the same for your orange color. For example, here, you can add some textures inside of it. You can, like this. And here's another one that I'd like to talk about, the Pitt Artist Pens, because they are indie ink. What happens is that there's translucency happening here. So it's kind of like watercolor. You can build up your colors. By using the same color, you can change the intensity or the vibrancy of that color. For example, the very light green or light yellow that we have, we can add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layer to build the intensity or the vibrancy to add more saturation in your colors. This is why I love the Pitt Artist Pens, and they don't bleed through. It doesn't have to, you don't have to buy like the most expensive, sketchbooks just because it's so picky. This one doesn't bleed through. It's water-based, there's no smell. I love it. So here, what is missing with our little tiny citrusy family in here? Our kawaii faces. What's happening? We don't have kawaii face. I'm just going to use my brush, black one, to add a little bit of kawaii face. Can add different expressions. And if you're using your sketchbook, for example, you're using your sketchbook with the same markers, the Pitt Artist Pens, and you feel like, you know what, I want to add a little bit of background here. I want to introduce another medium. Per se, you want to add the blue, right? Blue will look great in this palette if you want to add the background. And if you're like me, I get lazy because there's like a big area that I have to fill in. So my favorite thing to do to add some background where it's not going to affect my drawings and I don't have to be extra careful would be watercolors, because the Pitt Artist Pens, once they're dry, they are waterproof. So that means you can add some watercolors on top of this. You don't have to be super careful. Um, it's not going to move. It's not going to bleed. They're going to be safe. So yeah, that's a fun way to add your background, would be watercolors with the Pitt Artist Pens. It's like this. This one is a little sour. It's like, whatever, what are you so happy about? His face is like, whatever. This one's super happy. Big mouth. There we go. So that's just one palette. That's a citrus palette. All right, let's choose something. Let's just a little bit muted this time. Kind of like for more mature audiences. I should say. Let's choose the Serenity. This one is beautiful. Look at this palette here. We have 162. I'm going to set these aside just so I don't get confused. All right. So I have 162, which is a very light, almost like mint color, light phthalo green. We have 131, a coral color, gorgeous. That's 132. So this would be 131. Perfect. We have 180. Now we're introducing browns, warm browns. We have raw umber. Then we have a warm gray, 272. This is it. Look at this beautiful palette right here. And then the darkest one would be the 175, which is, what's 177? No. The last one, the dark sepia color. Look, this is, I call this one the Serenity palette. Let's look at them. They are so beautiful. They're gorgeous. Now I can see this and I can already feel like if I look at this palette, for example, and I don't have anything in mind what I want to do, I could either do a little bit of lettering and add some floral to it. And why don't we do that? I think that's going to be gorgeous. 174 is my favorite greens. 174 would be, is that the last one that we use, the darkest green? That's gorgeous. You guys have the swatch card, right? That will help a lot, having that swatch card. Where did I put the note? It's in front of me, Lhey. Here we go. Ooh, okay. How are we going to do this? Serenity palette. I feel like I want to add some lettering. Let's do a little bit of lettering. Let's grab some pencil. I moved my drawers and now I don't have it. Usually it's like right under my desk and I moved my office around, moved some things around here. So it's kind of like, I have one pencil in here. Let's do a very simple brush lettered word. Let's say you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can choose your own word, like something positive, like I love writing the word blessed. I think if this is not the first time you attending my class, you know that I like to write that a lot. I like the word hope, hope. I like it. So HOPE, and I like with all small letters, but a script. All right. So I'm just going to sketch it again. When you're sketching, very lightly. H. That's my H. Ooh, my screen is being weird. It's not wanting to focus, isn't it? All right, here we go. H, and then O, P, and then E. Right. So with brush lettering, we all know that it's all about the thin and the thick stroke. And there's a very loud leaf blower outside. And I'm going to go erase it. So maybe Carrie can help us with some of our past classes that we did brush lettering. Now I'm going to choose the darkest color first, which is the dark sepia, 175. And I'm going to do our letters first. Simple. Kind of like revisiting brush lettering again. Thin stroke would be going light in your pressure. So to create your thin stroke, it has to be light. And when do you do the thin stroke? Every time you would write away from your body. So it's all the upstroke. Your upstrokes are thin. I'm going to do an example in here. Going up using the tip of the brush pen, you go light on your pressure. Once you go down, this is your downstroke. This is where you apply some pressure. And I'm going to use the body, the tip and the body. And also notice how I'm holding my pen, almost like 45-degree relative pen to paper. That's right. So going up, thin stroke again, going down, bend it. Notice how this one I'm doing thick stroke, but it's not as thick as this one, because when I tried to do my downstroke in here, I didn't press too much or didn't apply enough pressure. But if I go thin and then really apply some pressure, notice a difference. That's some difference. And that's one way to really get that variety, because sometimes when you're thin is not thin enough and your thick is not thick enough, there's not a whole lot of difference. You cannot see the difference. So you're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Is it I'm not going thin enough or I'm not going thick enough? Whichever is most natural to you. To me, the downstroke feels more natural just because I write really heavy. So the downstroke is more effortless than being light on my pressure. Being light on my pressure is a bit of a challenge just because I have to try harder. But going down every time I apply pressure feels more natural. So if you feel like you're the same as me, if you feel like downstroke is more natural to you, then just be more mindful when you're doing the thin stroke. I know it's hard, but with, practice, you got this. All right, let's try that again. Going up thin and using the tip of the brush pen, going down. Don't be afraid to bend that tip of the brush. Don't be afraid, because that's one of my mistake when I was young, is that not young, when I was when I was just starting to practice, that was one of my mistake, was that I was so hard. It was so hard to bend the brush pen. I feel like I'm hurting it. I feel like I'm ruining it. That is why it's important to choose a paper that is smooth. All right. If you're going to do a lot of lettering, I really highly suggest choosing a paper that's smooth. Now, if you don't want to spend too much money in sketchbooks and all that, there's a brand, an HP, right? It's an HP laser paper. Let's write that because I think this is important. So you don't, HP laser jet paper, right? And it's a 32-pound. So even if it's a copy paper, it's still smooth, because I understand this hobby, it can be so expensive, from the pens to the paper. So if you're just starting out, I really highly recommend this paper right here. So laser jet. Now, if you want to go step up a little bit, Bristol Smooth is a good type of paper to use with your markers. All right, so now I'm going to go up again. So every time I write an upstroke, I have to be light on my pressure and then heavy going down. Right? Does that make sense? Okay, here we go. We're going to do the hope. And then also notice, this is another tip. I am tilting my paper to the left. It's going to feel more natural when I'm pressing down, or when I'm applying pressure to do my downstrokes. It will be much harder to do this. Notice how my hands, it doesn't feel natural. I'm also, at the end of the day, my practice, you'll be like hurting. Your hands will be hurting. So make sure to tilt your paper or your sketchbook to the left if you're a righty. If you're a lefty, tilt it to your right so that your hands feels more natural when you're bending and you're applying pressure. Okay, so I'm going to tilt it to the left and do this. Down, going up, right? This. Now we have our word. Now it's time to clean up a little bit of our sketches. So from your dark brown, I'm moving into the warm gray. I'm going to use this color to create some drop shadow. Now I'm going to choose to add my drop shadow to the left side of my letters. So here, just adding it right there to the left side here, just like that, to this left side here as well, just like that. And then here, here. This is another mistake that I was doing when I was just first learning, is that every time I would do drop shadow, I thought you just have to add an extra color everywhere. So no, you just choose which one side. So I'm choosing all the left side of each stroke. So this one, I'm going to go left as well. The left side also of this, right? Left side. So just choose one side. Like that. Right there. Last one right here. Okay. Now we're going to add some florals. I think this is a perfect. We have the coral color 131. When I'm doing some loose florals, you think, oh, only watercolors, will be able to do that. Actually, you can do it with some markers. And we've created, classes in the past where we used our brush pens. Because the Pitt Artist Pen has a flexible brush nib, you can use it to your advantage. You can create some mark making, create some organic marks to give that illusion of loose florals. For example, I want to add some, let's say roses, because roses are the best. And we've tackled this in the past few classes before, but since we're doing and sharing, some palette in here, I think a floral would be pretty to do. So here on my bottom right side, I'm using an A5 paper in here. I'm going to start with almost like a letter C. Just like that, a little tiny letter C, but very thick and then going thin. And then this time, the opposite. So how to create those thick strokes? Apply and bend those brush pens, right? So use the tip for the thin strokes and then bend it and then apply some pressure and then flick it almost to create another thin stroke to end your flower. Again, using the tip of the brush, light, thick, and bend, and then let go and use the tip of your pen again. Right? We can just keep going. Now, my problem here is knowing when to stop because it's so fun adding some flowers. Now, you can go longer if you'd like. I like adding some short strokes. And if you want, if it's on the left side, I feel like I'm having a harder time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt my paper like this to feel more natural to me, like this. See, I can see that my strokes are already getting better by moving that. So don't be afraid to move your canvas around or your notebook around. And remember what I said about building the intensity using just one color? We can do that. Now I want to add a little bit of like darker areas in here. So I'm just adding another layer of the same color. So I'm just doing it randomly. I'm not picking anything. Just doing it, adding some strokes in there. Look at that, it's beautiful already. Now I'm going to add some tiny small ones in here by doing the same thing, adding short strokes after short strokes. I'm going to show you what's the difference of not having enough white in between. Look at this. I'm intentionally doing it so you guys can see. Again, it's not wrong, it's not bad. It just looks differently. Right? This one you can really see where the negative spaces or the white space in between each stroke. It really gives you that separation of the petals. And this one almost feels like just blobs. Even if I go ahead and add in more darker stroke, the most important one is the white negative space in between your petals. It's like that. Then I'm going to use my light phthalo green, the 162, to add some leaves. And I'm not going to fill in that. Just one line. Just like that. And then, of course, to complete it, you can add another set of florals in here if you'd like. And then the last color that I have is the raw umber, which is the 180. I'm just going to use it to create the stamen of my flowers. So in the middle, just going to add a little bit of that brown. Just like that. You can also add another drop shadow if you'd like. Use it to add some line. Just so we can really see all the colors in this palette. All right, what's the next palette that we'd like to try out? Time is it 5:44 already? I feel like we just started. That is beautiful. Now that is our Serenity palette. So we have the coral, the light teal, we have a light brown, we have a dark brown, and a warm gray. Right? Next, let's choose which one. Do you guys have any request here? Look at your palettes that you have. We can choose the magical sunset, but we're not going to create a sunset. We're going to create some popsicles, maybe. I'll show you what it looks like when you try to color something using just one palette. Let's do the magical sunset. All right, so we have 143. We have cobalt blue. We have this 136, and we have purple violet. We have 129, the pink madder lake. We have 113. I think I have that out. Yep, orange glaze, and then 107, the same yellow one. This is the magical sunset. Put that on the side. Out of the blue, cool with you. Oh, sorry, guys, I didn't see it. Okay, hold on. We'll do another one. 5:46, we got this. It's like, why? Why time? All right. I am going to make, I think we did like a pineapple. We did a pineapple popsicle last time. And I'm so lucky because I have here some water. Because I want to show you what it's going to look like when it's blended with water. So I'm going to choose a dark blue, okay? I'm going to introduce another color in this palette, which is the 247 Indanthrene blue. I don't think is going to be good. Okay, we'll just choose it. Right. Is that the same color? Yeah. Yes, we'll do the out of the blue. That's going to be pretty. All right, so we'll just do one popsicle. Well, actually, two popsicle. So I'm going to start with the blueberries. If you want, you can sketch a popsicle shape if this is helpful. Sometimes it is, most of the time it is for me. So I'm just going to, just so I can have a visual of where I want it. I'm going to go lighten it again. All right. And then we can just use the same color too, just so you can see that when it's blended with water and when it's not blended with water. So I'm just going to use the cobalt blue, the same exact color that we have in the palette. And I'm going to just make some blueberries in here. You know how the blueberries are. Neat. So just circles, nothing fancy, nothing special, just like that. And then I'll make another one. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to make another one on the side. I want to make some strawberries. Let me show you. So just a strawberry shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, with this look that I'm trying to make, the more imperfect it is, it's more whimsical. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to feel it if it's dry already. Now, do you have anything very smooth surface? For example, a plastic or a packaging or a glass. This one is perfect. If you have anything like this, I love using this. It's just a dish that I got from, can't remember when. But if you have like any acrylic blocks like this, that will work too, like a little tiny plate. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the cobalt blue right here. Ooh, some squeaky thing. I have my water brush. I'm just going to wet it. And we're using the same blue. And this is where I talked about this earlier, that you have to move in, work a little faster, move a little faster. Because once the ink is dry, it's dry. Because look at our blueberries. It is not blending. It is not moving or anything at all. I wanted to show you that. It's not going to blend. It's going to stay right there. Once they're dry, they are waterproof. Let's start adding in some details. If they're still wet, it's going to blend. But once they're dry, they're archival, they are waterproof, and they are not going to move. And I really, really love that. And you can also, let's see how fast it will dry. Okay, I'm going to apply it. Now, this is going to depend on the paper. See how it's not moving anymore? Because it dries so crazy fast. Yep, it's not going to blend. So wanted to show you that. All right, so palette. This is the color. We have the cobalt blue. We have the 136. Look how fun this palette here. It's so pretty. I have a yellow 107. Such gorgeous colors. Just like that. So you can use it for lettering. You can use it for popsicles and all that. Let's do the cool with you. We have, oh, this is pretty. Let's do the out of the blue and then cool with you. So let us get 230. We have cold gray. And then we have 146. Oops, that's not the one. We have sky blue. We have 110. We have phthalo blue, I think. Yep, phthalo blue. We have 153, a cobalt turquoise, 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 turquoise. We have 235. Yep, no. Huh, a warmer gray. Oh, no, a dark gray. Nope, we have, I cannot find it. Two, it's not the one. Oh, it's a, what is it? What color is a 235, guys? There we go, a cold gray. Wow, that's beautiful. And I'm going to do a different type of swatch in here so you guys can really see this palette up close. So for example, you can use the colors to create like backgrounds like this. So that's the warm, that's the gray, the lightest gray in this palette. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty. We have the 153. And it's so crazy too. Like when you're working with palette like this, and it's just, it's going to change so much the way it's like presented. For example, the gray is in between. And because my paper is slightly yellow, you cannot really see it. But if you start it with the gray, for example, let me grab a white paper so we can really see, because of the yellow is throwing us off. So look at this difference of the color right now. That's the cold gray. And I'm going to go with the sky blue this time. So we'll go from the lightest to the darkest, so we can really see the difference. And then we have 110, which is the phthalo blue. So beautiful. Then we have the cobalt turquoise. It's pretty. And then you have the cold gray 6235. How I'm going to use this palette is that I'm going to use the blues as a background, and we can do that. Let's do that real quick because we have 5 minutes. No. And I'm going to show you another fun way that you can use your Pitt Artist Pens. Okay. This is an acrylic block. You can use it for stamping, but I'd like to use it for other things as well. I'm going to apply my Pitt Artist Pens, and I'm going to get my water spray, right? Spray it like that. I'm going to smoosh it. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to grab the cobalt, the turquoise color. You have to clean it in between. Clean your colors in between. So you can use this with a Ziploc, or you know how the packaging, some stickers you buy, purchase, and all that has that plastic packaging. You can use those. Oh, this is makes me want to go to the beach. right, that, and just clean it in between. If you have a blow dryer, you can blow dry it so that you don't blend your colors, because once they're still wet, they're going to blend. So if you don't want to mix too much of your colors, then let it dry in between. If you don't have blow dryer, just wait. Or if you have, a heat gun like this one, then you can dry in between. And also smush some in there. Then I'm going to add the phthalo blue. This one, I want more intensity of the color, so I'm going to spray just a little bit, just one. Some areas in there. Reminds me of the beach. Sometimes when I add too much water, that's where it takes forever to dry. That's okay, it's worth it. I love the result. Now I want to add a little bit of that cold gray in here. I know we're going to use this for the lettering, but I want just a little bit of this dark. And again, a little bit of water, just a little bit, just so we can have some contrast. So this will work for Ziploc also. So when I'm doing like junk journaling, I love doing this, like creating some fun abstract background for my journal entries, or even a background for some photos. You can use some stickers if you like, but I love lettering and doodling. So to create like a quick, fun background, unique, easy, this is a great way to do that. All right, now I'm going to use the darkest gray, which is the cold gray. I'm just going to add something in here. Let's say, take me to the beach. Or and then remember, we still have the light gray, which is the 230. And you can use that light gray to add your drop shadow. There we go. You have like a little abstract happening in here using the same palette. I'm going to use that cold gray. Again, because of this paper is too yellow, that cold gray is not giving me anything. It's almost like non-existing. There's a little bit, not too much. All right. So this was it, guys. I know it's like, when we're doing some lettering classes, or, anything like of this sort where we didn't really finish a project, sometimes kind of like, no, I feel like we didn't do anything. But really exploring our supplies is really important, because I still do that. For example, there's a supply that, or a tool that I haven't used in a while. I have to revisit that and really explore, how did I use it again, or what other ways can I use this for, or with. So always play, allow yourself some playtime, because playtime is so important. And that's what we did today. So we really did just kind of like explore the color palettes. Don't forget to print your palette like this and also the blank swatch card, because it's really going to help you. Seeing your colors all together will really help. Remember to use your intuition, listen to, your heart also. What really does spark joy, for example, it is the muted colors, then stick to the muted colors. Whatever it is that brings you joy, stick to that. So, but I hope that this helps, guys. Thank you all so much for joining in. This was fun. This was so relaxing. I think this is what I really needed. If you notice in the beginning, I was like I was such buzzed, super excited, but just allowed me to kind of slow down and really just play. So that was really important. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Again, my name is Lhey Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Lhey on the internet. If you get a chance, I'd love to have you in my community on social media. Also learn with Michaels and at Faber-Castell USA. We're all on social media. So follow along. I would be happy to be part of your art journey. So again, I hope to see you next week. Of course, we're going to do some kawaii doodles and coloring using the kawaii world. I can't wait to share this with you. I'm super proud of this book here. And we get to explore it next week. Same time, Wednesday, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. On behalf of Faber-Castell and Michaels, we thank everybody. Have a beautiful Wednesday, rest of your evening. Until next week. See you all. Bye, everyone. Thank you.